You're welcome back. Within the period of the break, my second guest came in, and he's in the person of Barrister Deji Adeyanju, lawyer, human rights activist. Yes, the same Deji Adeyanju. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. Good
to be here.
Right. Thank you so much for coming. So Nigerians, the house is full as we had originally intended. So we can proceed right now. Just before you came in, Deji,
yes,
we're trying to do a post-mortem on the protests.
Yes, indeed.
And then my guest here said that it has not proven to be as effective as was contemplated. What's your take?
Well, the protests have been very effective, and I must say that even before it started, was already a success. Because the idea of protest is not just to hit the street. The idea of protest is to do a reawakening of the citizenry, to draw the attention of government to societal ills and the issues affecting the downtrodden. So, and these issues have highlighted economic challenges being faced by Nigerians due to the removal of fuel subsidy, hike in electricity tariff, insecurity, high cost of governance in the country. The protesters are demanding for politics to become a part-time thing. You can't be paying politicians and their aides as well, you know. And also the issue of reworking the 1999 constitution that was written by the military, that let's have a people constitution.
Right.
You know, so those are some of the issues. And despite harassment, intimidation, threats by the service chief, by the Inspector General of Police, by the president himself, by even traditional religious leaders for people not to protest, citizens still braced, you know, the threats and protested across the length and breadth of the country. We saw thousands of people gathering in Lagos. We saw thousands of people gathering in Borno, in Kano, in Adamawa, in Gombe, in Yobe, in Katsina. Here in Abuja, thousands gathered here in Abuja.
Right.
You know, and despite even attempt to restrict protesters to a particular venue, even when the Court of Appeal has said protesters cannot be restricted to a venue, you know, we saw protesters blazing the trail and doing the needful.
Now, I think I need to set this in the proper perspective, because I think that the sense in which it meant that it was not effective is the response of government. Because like you said, there was a charter of demands.
Indeed.
And these demands have not yet been met. None of them have really been met. And I think that she was speaking from that point.
Yeah.
So what do you say on that score?
Yes, this from 1999 to date, governments largely have been basically irresponsible in meeting demands of the people, whether it be from NLC to ASU, TUC, you know, and sundry issues. You know, government will not just meet demands if push does not come to shove. Look at all the times that government have made demands of ASU. People have had to go on the street to protest, to strike. NLC, same thing.
Yeah.
So the protesters should not think they're going to have it different or easy. You know, Nigerians must show and come together in unison to say that they've had enough. I still believe that Nigerians have not had enough. That's why you are even having to convince people to come out on the street to protest.
Else it will be instantaneous.
Yes, the president needs to double down his bad economic policies so that everybody can become directly affected. When everybody becomes directly affected, when a mudu of beans gets to 10,000, and I can assure you that it will.
The way we are going.
With the way we are going. When a mudu of gari gets to 555 and a carton of Indomie gets to 50,000, nobody is going to tell anybody to come out and protest. You understand? It looks like we are begging Nigerians to protest. No, don't protest. Stay in your house and drink coffee and have a great time. After all, are we not all enjoying in the country? Let us also enjoy the balablu economy with the president. You know, since we have to appeal to the poor people to protest. You know, so let us continue enjoying the good policies of the government. Humorously, like I would like to put it.
Good, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. So if people feel that they need to be advised, they need to be encouraged to come out and protest, then I'll say that the people are not yet feeling the pinch, the economic pinch, as the case may be. But in my view, I feel that the demands, the charter of demands have not been met. And it's in government.
Agrees with
yes, I agree with her on that score.
Yeah.
And it's in the best interest of government that government should meet the demands. Government is still extremely lucky that this protest was announced, venues were stated. The real protest will not be announced. And this real protest is inevitable.
I think you jumped. I was going to ask, what what you think was done now that made government able to sort of frustrate it, sort of weaken the protest mechanism? That what exactly will you be doing differently? Is there something you people could have done differently? And what will you be? Because I already hear it's already in the news again. There's going to be a 1 million march on October 1st, if I hear correctly.
Yeah, the protesters in their strike did well by informing government.
It was in good spirit.
Yes,
it was right.
Did very well by informing government that protest was going to take place, date, venue. We have seen sudden protests all around the world that have claimed democratically elected government, and it's always good when the attention of government is drawn to societal ills, like the way the protesters have just done, with the end bad governance protest. But government said no, they want bad governance to continue, and so that was why there was a lot of pushback on the part of the security agencies. I've never seen a situation where security agencies start talking like politicians and start going into the job of the security agencies is not to tell protesters not to protest.
It's to protest.
Under this president, this is the first time that we'll have in recent history that these protests are just concluded. Over 1,300 protesters were arrested under this president. Even under the military regime, 1,300 people were not arrested under the military regime. So this government is an anti-people government. It's an anti-democratic government. It does not believe, because if this government loves democracy, why will it be arresting people who are protesting? Comrades in Abuja were arrested for protesting. Yeah. Comrades in Kano have been arrested for protesting. Comrades in Jigawa and Katsina have been arrested for protesting. And they've been even charged to court. And in Katsina, very unfortunately, comrades were arraigned, charged to court, and the magistrate gave 1 month adjournment. So they are going to be in detention.
For 1 month.
For 1 month for protesting and demanding for bad governance to come to an end. Under a man who protested against the military, under a man who protested against Jonathan, who has been leading protests. What an irony and a parody of some sort.
Now, Deji, are you saying, because the narrative that we have, that is largely in this media space, is that those who committed the atrocities that were associated with the protest, on the fringes of the protest, those who broke into homes, or who looted shops or whatever and caused arson or something, are the ones that were arrested? You're saying that some comrades are among those who are arrested, and they are even behind bars as we speak.
Madam Angela is in Abuja. She was at the National Stadium with us. You were also there. I saw you at the National Stadium.
Right.
She was with us. She was one of the people that was mobilizing and gingering people at the protest venue, singing and coordinating traffic. She was arrested by the DSS. She has been in custody for about a week. Comrade Michael Lenin in DSS custody, and several other comrades in Abuja. The situation is the same in Kano. Situation is the same thing in Gombe, in Katsina, in Jigawa. All these people were not involved in any looting. The people that did the looting are APC members, like in Kano. The Kano people saw the people very close to the APC. Their pictures are all over the internet. The evidence that they were the ones. Government brought them so that they can attack the protesters and quell the protest. And we warned them 2 weeks to the protest that this is not 2020 during NSAS when you unleash thugs upon people. That these thugs, if you bring out these thugs, they will not go home. They're going to loot shops. We issued a warning to them, but they refused. Instead of arresting even their thugs that they sent, they refused to arrest them. They arrested protesters and are detaining protesters and even charged protesters for protesting in a democracy. How then do you demarcate democracy if not this way? If not this way. And the people that suffer the most in Nigeria are the people that try to do the right thing, as exemplified by this protest.
So you're saying there's no incentive for doing good, for doing right?
Absolutely.
No incentive.
Bad behavior gets so much encouragement, and that's why there's penchant for criminality all across the country. Because people who commit criminality get rewarded, people who try to do the right thing get vilified, get insulted, get harassed by security agents, are even arrested and even charged. How do you charge somebody for protesting, for God's sake?
Now, when we get back after this break, we'll be going on a break very shortly. When we get back after this break, I'd like you to shine some light, especially because you're a lawyer. What does the law say about this? Because we all know it's become common knowledge that there's provision for protest in our constitution.
Yes,
and so if on the strength of a protest, you now push people into the gulag and shut the door against them, what does the law say? Maybe when we get back.
Indeed.
Welcome back, viewers. You're still on the Polity from KAFTAN TV from the Abuja studios, and I'm sure that you're having a great time there listening to my guests, Blessing Daniel, the youth corper, and Deji Adeyanju, the lawyer, the human rights activist. I'm sure you know him more as a human rights activist than as a lawyer. Yeah. All right. In spite of just on a lighter note, in spite of all the stress that you go through during protests, you look so handsome.
We try to keep up. We try to keep up with the.
Because I know that you've been part of several protests in times past. Yeah,
and if you consider how many times I've spent in prison over the years, you know, and also in several facilities of the security agencies, you know that I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. You take good care of yourself, and you need to keep it up. Yeah. So we're saying something just before the. I'll get back to you shortly. We're saying something about how does the law look at this?
Yes. So basically, the law says citizens have the right to freedom of assembly under Section 42 of our Constitution, 1999 as amended. The law also says that sovereignty belongs to the people, from wherein the government derives all its powers, in Section 14 of our Constitution. Additionally, the law has said in Section 45 of the Constitution that there are instances where the right enshrined in the Constitution in Chapter 4 of our Constitution are not absolute. That's the right to freedom of assembly and all that. Public safety, public health, public morality, public order, and all those stuffs. Those exceptions do not apply
in this case,
in the instance case, because the derogation provided in the Constitution cannot apply in the instant case because there's no COVID. There's no emergency.
What should have been the...
Yes. Even under COVID, people still protested globally. Because you can remember Black Lives Matter in the US, you know, and also NSAS happened during COVID and all that. So, ordinarily speaking, the government did not have to stoop so low to go and obtain orders from a court to restrict protesters to a particular venue. You know, the case of all AMPP and Commissioner of Police, wherein the then former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was tear gassed, you know, and they were attacked by the police. They went to court. Femi Falana was their lawyer. They went to the court of first instance, they won. The court said, police do not have the right to restrict protesters or attack protesters, or that people do not have to take any permission from any security agencies to do any protest. And that's why in our meeting to the Inspector General of Police, we told him, protesters, before the protesters you cannot be the one giving orders to protesters on how they should protest or the route that they should follow, or that protesters must submit their details to you. Or you don't have that right. The right of freedom of assembly cannot be derogated from in the manner that they were seeking to do so during this End Bad Governance protest. Additionally, it's also important that the court made specific pronouncements in that case, where the court re-emphasized the right to freedom of assembly, you know, and the right for citizens to enjoy that right uninterruptedly.
But all these precedents were jettisoned.
They were jettisoned during the End Bad Governance. We saw a situation where the police and other security agencies were trying to criminalize the right to freedom of assembly. However, even despite the infringement upon the rights of citizens have specific remedies available to them in law. They can approach the Federal High Court or the State High Court, as the case may be, and they may file for fundamental right enforcement proceedings against the security agencies and even persons, the Commissioner of Police in their private, in personal capacity, who must have violated their rights for lawful actions or unlawful actions taken as the case may be. Additionally, those who have lost valuable property or life can also seek remedy within the ambit of the law for wrongful death or losses suffered.
Now, so I'd like us to quickly round up that aspect, but I'll still take one or two questions. So, do you, as lawyer to the organizers, are you thinking of taking advantage of the provisions of the law?
Absolutely. We have given an ultimatum for all comrades to be released by tomorrow, failure for which, if by the end of close of work for tomorrow they are not released, legal remedies will be sought against persons who have carried out this injustice against the Nigerian people and also institutions in that regard.
Now, I'd like you to be categorical here, because from all accounts, from most accounts, that's the very root of the problem that we have that has ballooned to this point. The issue of the fuel subsidy removal.
Yes, indeed. Now,
two things quickly, and we'll then move forward and talk about the International Youth Day and youths generally. What's your position categorically? Are you one of those persons who say that the only solution, the only way the nation can move forward economically and socially and ensure that the well-being of the people is provided for, is a return to pre-subsidy removal era?
Yes, I think the economy is suffering too much because of bad economic policies. Again, because the economic team is largely incompetent. So because of that, it's important that subsidies are brought back. What it will do is, because our economy is largely dependent on petrol, and subsidiary products. Yeah. What that will do for the economy is that we'll be able to tackle inflation in the immediate, while we begin to seek for long-term plans. Long-term plans including getting all the refineries in the country to work. Because if all the refineries in the country work, we'll be able to say for certain that we can now go back to the regime where we are not paying for subsidy. Why are we paying for fuel subsidy? We are paying for fuel subsidy because specific individuals have frustrated the efforts of our refineries to work because they have interests elsewhere. So that is one of the reasons why we are not, we are paying for fuel subsidy.
That has been denied, but that's neither here nor there. Just continue.
Additionally, it's also important to know that Nigeria is not the only country that pays for subsidies for its citizens, or even almost all developed nations in the world. So the idea that, we cannot continue to pay for subsidy, the narrative being driven by IMF and the World Bank is neither here nor there. Furthermore, it's important to note that whether anybody likes it or not, the economy is too bad not to be subsidizing for the people because of inflation. Inflation is further hurting the economy. So the idea of giving subsidy, to the people, or subsidizing petrol and electricity and even education like China does and other parts of the world does. Some countries even subsidize walnuts for their citizens. Yes, some people also cushion the economic effect of people losing jobs. In the UK, if you lose your job, you get into the social welfare nest almost immediately. So the idea of doing that is that Nigerians, the purchasing power will improve and that prices of goods and services will reduce. Now, and in doing that, people will be able to afford goods and services. Right now, people can barely even afford a meal per day. And that is seriously hurting the economy. It's affecting jobs. People are closing shops almost on a daily basis. Even international businesses are closing up shops and leaving the country. So you don't want a situation where the price of production, and the price to be fixed for the end product of the product itself cannot be affordable by the citizen. Because when that is not possible, shops close, the economy eventually tank over, and that is what we don't want. So, and that it is also better to subsidize for the poor and the economy than to subsidize the governors.
In any case, I am also, I wonder all the time why you'd say because, so because there are a few stones and chaff in the beans, so you stop eating beans completely, or you stop eating rice completely. Is it not wisdom that you pick out the chaff and cook the rice? Indeed. So what do I mean by that? One would expect that if you say that it is corruption reading, then remove the corruption, and let's have the subsidy. But no. But
okay, between the corruption of the subsidy and the corruption that the governor perpetrates, which is better? The governors take their share of the FAC. They immediately change it to dollar at the end of the month. It puts pressure on the dollar and weakens the naira. Also, there's no development. In the last 1 year, all the money that Tinubu saved from removal of subsidy, where has it gone to? It has gone directly into the pocket of the governor. So it's better to subsidize the economy and the poor people. At least the poor people will be grateful. The economy will be grateful as well. And the governors are perpetually ungrateful.
So there's no amount of subsidy that you give to them that's enough.
It can never be enough.
Now, finally on that, it has been argued that this protest was premature, was hasty.
Yes.
That the government should have been given a little more time.
Yes.
That it's just spent a year and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
well, basically the protest was not hasty. Things have been degenerating for quite a while. People kept crying, begging the government. The government refused to listen. The protest is the only language that the political elite in Africa, not just Nigeria, at least understand. And you can see that they understood the language of protest by the amount of mobilization of the security personnel. I didn't know that we had this kind of security in the country, that ragtag bandits have been terrorizing Zamfara and most parts of Kaduna and Kano, you know, and other parts of the country. Kidnappings almost on a daily basis on Benin Road. I didn't know that Nigeria was this sophisticated in terms of security mobilization. In just how many days we're able to mobilize thousands of people, to security agents, to harass protesters, to tear gas protesters, to shoot and kill protesters all over the country. But we cannot police our borders. We cannot police Kaduna Abuja Express Road. We cannot police Sokoto Zamfara Express Road. We cannot prevent bandits from dancing on TikTok and showing kidnapped victims. And we have a situation where majority of the bandits in the Northwest are now content creators on TikTok and Instagram. And we have this massive deployment of security for just peaceful protests.
Well, let's hope that the days ahead will be better days. Let's just be hopeful. It's very critical.
We can't just keep hoping. We can't keep praying. Nigeria prays too much about basic things. We must stop hoping, and hope is not a government policy. Let us call upon our leaders to do what they were elected to do. Africa is the only country where people are elected to do a job. They fail to do the job. Then they urge pastors and imams to urge the people to pray for them.
To pray. Or to make more sacrifice. Yeah. Don't you think, Blessing, that we should be, the people, Nigerian people should sacrifice more?
When it comes to sacrifice, I think Nigerians have sacrificed enough.
All right.
So it is left on the part of the government. I think the effectiveness we need now is from the part of the government. I feel like Nigerians are doing enough. We need the government to be more effective. Right
now. So as far as you're concerned, like someone said somewhere, Nigerians are already like a sacrifice on their own. Even they are like the sacrifice on the altar already. So where else do you want them to push to? That's what someone said somewhere. Now, so Blessing, quickly. Yesterday, 12th August, is reserved, set aside every year to mark International Youth Day. And that was yesterday. And we want to look at a few things around the youths and their development and everything. Yeah. So the theme for this year is from cliques to progress, youth pathway to sustainable development. What exactly do you make of that?
Okay, I think basically that has to do with the media. You know, talking about from cliques to progress, digital pathway to sustainable development. That has to do with tech, media, and that is what is taking over the world presently. And I feel like the youth are at the forefront when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what the theme is all about.
That they are tech savvy.
Yes.
And that they should turn just the cliques. It should not just remain in the realm of cliques. It should become meaningful. It should become sustainable. It should become something concrete, something impactful. Yeah, I think I agree with you. We will continue, Blessing, after this timeout. So as we can allow my guest on the far right to quickly go meet some engagements.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Right. And so we hope that very shortly again we'll have you come in, and I hope that you will make yourself available.
By the grace
we really
of
do
God.
appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's focus on a wave of youth-led protests sweeping across nations, especially in Nigeria and Bangladesh. These protests highlight the quest for better governance and economic justice. In this report, we take a closer look at what's happening on the ground where young people are shaking things up. Youth protests have erupted in Nigeria, driven by widespread dissatisfaction with the Tinubu administration. Thousands are demanding immediate reforms, including the reversal of fuel subsidy removal. Amid high employment, corruption, and economic instability, youth unemployment has soared to 34.5%, according to the International Labour Organization and research at the Center for the Study of the Economies of Africa.
Perceived level of corruption, the cost of governance, the instability in price of goods and food, and this has been what part of the problem. They capture snippets of pictures of things that happened and they put it online. We need to have demands that are time-bound, that are measurable, that we can actually use to put on the table and use indicator to actually see whether we have achieved what we have asked for, either yes or no.
In Bangladesh, widespread protests over economic conditions and political corruption forced 76-year-old Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to resign and flee after student demonstrations. According to multiple media outlets, the Prime Minister escaped from Dhaka on a military transport minutes before thousands of people stormed into her official residence and ransacked it. 84-year-old Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus has taken over as interim leader. I spoke to Bangladeshi journalist Sahid Shashin in Dhaka to provide more insights.
Last 1 month, 5 journalists was killed and more than 400 journalists was injured. So you can imagine what was the situation.
We talked about all of this when we first met at the spring meetings in Washington, that, there would be a wave of protests and hostilities, and it was imminent anyway. Can you tell us what's happening in Bangladesh? And will you say that all of this was so preventable?
And this is stoppable. The student movement started mainly around the quota system in Bangladesh and getting jobs. You will be surprised to know that Bangladesh once had a 56% quota in getting government job. Only 44% are on merit basis. People are afraid about the other issues after the taking interim government. Now this is scenario in this Bangladesh.
Yeah, but the unrest was definitely intense. More than 300 people have died and even more casualties were recorded. Young people in your country are rallying against government's handling.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still here on the program The Polity, coming to you live from KAFTAN TV, and you've been listening to myself, Deji Adeyanju, and Blessing Oizamsi Daniel. But a while ago, Deji had to leave to quickly attend to some other pressing engagements, and so that leaves me with Blessing Daniel. And Blessing, now I come back to you quickly now. Now we've identified that there are gaps in terms of inclusion. It looks like the youth are disconnected. They are alienated from leadership and from participation in leadership. And there are several other ways that the youth feel neglected and unattended to. And maybe we could clearly say that even the protests that are held recently are, I mean, it's a sign of the problem. It's a manifestation of the problem on ground. A situation where so many people have no jobs and all that. So, what exactly do you think government should be doing right now? By the way, viewers, you can call in right now. We will take your calls from this moment so that you can be a part of it, so we can make the program interactive, and so that we can also have your contributions as we together make Nigeria a far better place than it is now, because it's possible, it can be done, and we can do it, and we will do it. Thank you for staying tuned. So, Blessing. Yeah, so what do you think should be done right now? If you had the ears of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you had an opportunity, and he said, Blessing, you are a youth. What do you think we should be doing for the youth right now? What are those things you will be talking about? Maybe you want to meditate upon that while I take this call.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sanida Mahmuda.
I didn't get the first name.
I'm calling from Plateau. Sanida Mahmuda.
Okay, Sani Dan Mahmuda.
Thank you, sir.
Right, please fire on.
Yes. Well, what we are facing in Nigeria, the reality is that people are killing our future. We youth in Nigeria, we are living futureless and hopeless. We endure much and much like that. In the normal way of life, we have to have confidence in our own country, but we don't have any confidence. Whenever we talk, they will say we should endure, we should be patient. I don't even know which patient they want us to be. Why they will say there is no money, no money, but they are borrowing, and then we know that our country is wealthy enough for us to have a good life. But we have no future. We are futureless. At the end of the day, they will be sharing the money among them. And then all we are complaining is about like 2 to 3 or 4 things. Now, we don't even know the exactly number of youth that drop out from school just because of registration. They cannot afford it. Their parents cannot afford it.
Isn't that why the government has just put in place a loan fund to attend to the indigent students? I think that that's on that particular score. I think that that's commendable. It might not get to everybody, but that's a huge one, if you ask me. But I take your point. The other points, you have made some very strong points, saying that the system is leaving youths futureless. That's a huge one. I would like that we leave it there right now, so we can accommodate many more people. Thank you so much, Sani Dan Mahmuda. Thank you for your contributions, and please stay tuned. Thank you. Now, so Blessing, you want to quickly take a shot at that?
Yeah. So, as the supposed leaders of tomorrow,
yeah.
So I want to ask, when does the tomorrow comes? And okay, when the tomorrow comes, are we not supposed to be prepared for it? They say when preparedness meets opportunity, that's when it bets something beautiful. But then, how prepared are we for the tomorrow? And how are we supposed to be prepared? We are supposed to be empowered in many ways by educating us. And presently, we can see that we live in a digital world.
Yeah.
The best way to empower youth is by giving them digital skills. Empower them digitally and many ways. Provide jobs. Okay, sometimes we have these skills. We have so many skilled, so many talented youth in Nigeria, but they are jobless, roaming on the streets because there's no job. There are many negativity. And this is on the part of the government, if you ask me, because I feel like youth are doing enough. They are doing much. Yet I don't see the effectiveness, and it is not their fault because they are trying their best. If you ask me, youths are working hard. We work so hard in this country. We work so hard, yet we don't see results.
So you think that if government were to give some measure of support, let's take this call and then we'll continue. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, President.
Yeah, so what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Safran calling you from Natarawa.
Frank from Nasarawa. Please, let's have your contribution.
Sofiano.
Oh, Sofiano. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. My take is that let our religious leaders stop deceiving us in the sense of whenever youth or Nigerians are complaining, they say we should pray for our leaders. Did China, India, Saudi Arabia, America pray before their country gets better? The answer is no. Good leadership. They should talk to the people in power to do the needful. Good leadership, that is what we want. Let our country be better. Chinese, they are watching idol. India, they are watching cows. It is prayer that their country better? No. Better leadership, that is what we want. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sofiano. Thank you. Now, so Sofiano says we're prayer of a fool. What do you have to say about this?
Actually, I am a Christian, if you ask me, and I don't think prayer should be taken out of the picture. But however, the government needs to be effective. And this has nothing to do with prayers, because we pray enough. We are very religious in this country. Aside the fact that, oh, we are God-fearing. Yes, we accept that. And I do not dispute the part where we need to pray, where we need to bring various religions. But however, we need to put in the work. If we keep praying and we don't put in the work, you keep getting same results. It's just like, oh, you're preparing for an exam. Maybe you have an exam next week and you don't read. And you're praying, God, I want to pass. You pray. And then you keep your book. And then you see the question. And when you're in the exam, you're asking God, what's answer to number 1? Whereas there was a script for you to read. There was something there for you to do. They say heaven helps those who help themselves. If you keep praying and you don't put in the work, we'll still get same results. Yes.
Hold your thoughts. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah?
I'm calling from Benue State.
Yeah, your name?
Hello?
Your name?
I'm known as Dayo calling from Benue State.
All right, just go ahead. I didn't get the name.
Hello?
I didn't get the name.
I said I'm Tayo.
Oh, Taiwange. All right, okay. Go ahead.
Tayo calling from Benue State.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. My advice is that the president should initiate some programs that will feature youths. And I also advise you to cooperate with the president. You know, we have enough and much to do in revamping our economy through our cooperation. I think Mr. President is trying so much for the country and the youth in general. So they should also cooperate with him.
Yeah, when you say he should put in place some programs, like what? Measures like what?
For instance, I can see that the jobs are not enough, but he should initiate maybe loans and grants for the youth to be key into basic business that can pay.
All right.
It mustn't be a job anyway, but job cannot be ruled out.
Okay.
But I know that the job, if we can give much emphasis on job, I don't think it can accommodate all of us.
Yeah, but like you said, if there are grants and maybe loans, then people can start up something for themselves. And talking about loans and grants, you are aware, for example, that for students, the government is already doing something. Actually, I think the government also has to take it upon itself to do a lot more publicity on whatever it's doing, because you see, whatever you do without publicity, like they say, it's like winking in the dark. So you might be doing a whole lot, but if it's not publicized, it's as good as you're not doing anything. So government is also advised to take it up and make some noise where it is doing something. I mean, we also know that there is a grant for loan. I mean, for
students.
Apart from students, there's a grant coming up that for youngsters, but it just came in shortly before the protesters. So, but then it's not really my job to publicize for them. They have to really take up the responsibility to talk about what they're doing so that people can know. Thank you for coming on. I'll quickly take another one. Thank you. Stay tuned, please, to the very end of the program. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Who? Sandy Damamuda, you're calling back. Okay. It must be very important for you to call back, but you make it snappy this time because there are several persons who also want to call.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What I was like even seriously afraid of is when you check out the people who shoot the youth during the protest, most of the people who shoot those people are youth. You see, this is a very worrisome issue. And well, the way my brother said over there, that these our leaders understand no any language than this protest. But we are praying that very soon we'll organize a very serious protest because we are not okay with the policies of this government.
All right.
People are suffering.
We have to quickly go on a break now, Sunny. Just conclude your thoughts. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. And this issue of student loan, the reality is just a scam. There is nothing good about that. Let's just do the reality.
I think it's too early to judge the students' loan right now.
We have judged it now because we have seen what we have seen. We are the youth of this country. We don't need to deceive ourselves. That's the truth.
Okay. Okay, Sandy, thanks for your contributions. Now, so, you were making a point just before this call came in. And now, you say that you agree that there's a place for prayers, there's a place for religion. But I think that there's a dividing line between religion and spirituality. This is a country, we're not talking religion today, but maybe we can spare a little of the time. This is the same country where people as religious as they think they are very unspiritual. What do I mean by that? You find something that belongs to someone and you corner it and say that that's a blessing. Because we have been taught by so many unscrupulous leaders in certain sectors that everything can be called a blessing. That's not correct. I think that even the faith-based institutions need to go back to the drawing board, even within their ranks, to do a cleanup so that the right thing. I mean, there's so many things on social media, if you're following social media, and you can see that too many charlatans. But that's not the point that we really want to make today. The point remains that indeed we are a religious people, but where is the effect of that religiosity? If there is so much religion in this country and yet there's so much corruption, how do the two marry together? How do you reconcile the two? So these are issues, and so many of them we can continue to talk about. But quickly, let's take this call and then we'll get back on track on the youth. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name?
You're speaking to Sharafuddin.
Sharafuddin? From?
Yes, Sharafuddin from Gombe.
Gombe. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to quickly make some points about root cause of our problem. One of the major root cause is subsidy removal. Yes, subsidy removal. Before the removal of subsidy, we know the situation of the country. We know how the economy is working. And it has been said that most of the candidates, they advocated for removal of subsidy. But one thing people are not looking at is, when they say they will remove subsidy, what are the procedure of removing subsidy? You cannot just come one day and remove subsidy. Subsidy is gone, and we didn't put a short-term plan, long-term plan in place. One of the money generated from subsidy, it is said that it has been given to the governors. What have the governors been doing about it? Nothing. There is no backup plan. If governors are not doing anything, there should be a backup plan that, okay, how am I going to reach the masses that are going to be at the receiving end directly before the rich? Everybody is suffering, yes, including the rich. But what are the short-term plans that you put in place that if the governors feel, you are going to give them, you are going to put those plans in place? Nothing. If there is one thing we are going to applaud this administration for, is just that autonomy for the state, for the local government. Apart from that, I can't see anything. You said student loan. A lot of students are complaining. They don't even know the procedure of how to address it. You said CMG board. We are not seeing anything. 1.5 year go down. We are not seeing anything. You talk about a loan for MSME. We are not seeing anything. That's all the fact.
Well, I just said.
You make an analogy. Sorry, you bring an analogy about subsidy removal. That's okay. They should sanitize this. You understand? And let's subsidy more. Every country we know subsidize one thing or the other for the market. Why can't we bring that subsidy and sanitize it? As simple as ABC.
Right.
You understand?
Let's leave it there now, Sharafaddin. Thanks for coming on the program. Thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, so about like what you were saying, there's something about the student grant. People get grants, right? The student gets grants. I just want to speak on that.
Yeah.
Let's say they get the grant.
The loan.
The loan, sorry. They get the loan and they are able to go through school. They finish up and they are expected to pay back.
Yes.
Now, if I should graduate from school, where is the job for me to work and pay back? There are no jobs anywhere. After graduating, how am I expected to pay back this money this loan I got when there's no feasible job, there's nothing strong waiting for me? How am I shall be able to pay? So in that aspect, I really don't think it's quite effective, if you ask me.
No, but don't you think that the government that has put, I think that we should cross that bridge when we get to it, because the government will, I'm sure there will be things put in place to ensure that they are able to track everyone who gets that loan, even beyond school. And of course, they can't come asking for a loan from somebody who has not gotten a job. So it will not depend on them to also ensure that those people get a job. Else, like you're saying, and like a few persons are saying, like Sharafa just said, it might just turn to people taking a piece of the national cake, like several loan packages have become over the years. But I hope that government will think it through and know exactly how it's going to recover, so it doesn't become like some of those other loans that people have gotten, and it was unsustainable because the people who got, they didn't pay back, and so new people on the queue couldn't be reached. So I think for now, I think it's early in the day. Let's get to that bridge and cross it. And in any case, it's better to err on the side of empowering the citizens than that even these monies, if they are not channeled to students, they will still be spent and maybe wasted. So I think on that level, maybe we should say let's keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't escalate, and then maybe we get youths being arrested because they refuse to pay the loan, whereas they are unable to pay because they don't have jobs to pay. Hopefully, like you said, when we get to the bridge,
we'll cross it.
Yeah. So talking about where we're talking about religion and putting in the work. Even the Bible says faith without work is vain.
It's dead.
Yeah, it's dead. So aside praying, there's a place for prayer, like I was saying. There's a place where you have to bring, and like you said, there's a difference between being religious and being spiritual.
That's correct.
There's a big difference. Some people are just religious, and that's holding on to doctrines that your forefathers created. Sometimes they are not even Bible based. They are not. If you go to and check the Bible for these doctrines, you don't find it there. So I feel like it is more about the work. It's more about putting in the work than praying for. Like I cited an example of instead of reading for an exam, you are praying to pass. You cannot expect yourself to pass. You cannot expect yourself to get A. Now where the advantage of being spiritual comes in is when maybe I read and I'm unable to understand, then I pray for understanding. God gives me the understanding, and then maybe there's someone who's just there reading without, you can't understand it, you don't pray. I feel that's the advantage. But God has already given us, this is what you're supposed to do, and you're not doing it, you're praying. You cannot do anything. Everybody in this world was created for a purpose. There's a world problem you're supposed to solve, and God some way somehow has put in what you need to bring this thing to life. Yes, so you can't be praying and think those things.
Hold your thoughts, Blessing. We'll come back to you quickly. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, what's the name? Let's quickly have your thoughts.
Thank God. My name is Peter from Ondo.
All right, how's Ondo doing today?
Ondo is fine today.
So go to your contributions quickly.
Okay, sir. What I just have to contribute is about this, how this our country will be better. Most especially concern this subsidy matter.
Right.
Now, when they remove the subsidy without refinery in the country, can it work? Who are the people? Who are the owner of the refinery outside this country that is importing fuel to this country? We didn't stop them, and we want to remove a subsidy. It will cause inflation. We are just deceiving ourselves. Because before we can remove that subsidy, we're supposed to renew our refinery, and that refinery should be working. Then by the time we remove the subsidy, which means we want to generate fuel by ourselves, and we want to sell at the cheaper rate. Now we remove subsidy. There is no refinery that is working in this country. Then, which means the people that are bringing fuel from outside this country are the citizens of this country. They are just deceiving us. And they don't want our own to work here because there is no how they will get much money. So if the presidency really want to help this country, it should do all our refinery here working. Then by that time, it will remove the subsidy.
Thank you very much,
Peter.
Peter.
The position of all those things, sir. Finally, sir, please, sir. We said we are not importing anything from outside, but we are importing fuel. Are we not doing contrary to what we pronounce? Is that not corruption?
Well,
please that you help us in this country to say the truth.
Peter, thank you very much. I also noticed that you had support from Madam just now in your contribution. That's a good one.
Yes,
well done.
Yes, we are all together here because
well
we are all Nigerians.
Exactly, well done. Good job. Thank you.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
yes, sir, more time.
All right, bye-bye. Now, so, Blessing, because time is running out very fast, I like to ask, if government puts everything in place and the youth themselves are not ready to wake up and walk, wake up and leave, wake up and take charge, I can assure you that everything will still amount to nothing. Because this is what lawyers would say, that you can't put anything, you can't put something on top of nothing. Now, if the person himself does not realize, you said something a while ago that every man, every person is created for a purpose. If the person does not realize that and is wasting himself away, and the government even is ready to do something, for example, even some of the youths have a whole lot of skills, digital skills. They're tech savvy, they're tech knowledgeable, they can perform all kinds of wonders, but they choose to deploy it negatively. They choose to go into Yahoo. They choose to go into scams. They choose to defraud people from their bank accounts through their phones or whatever. They choose that evil road. Now, that same knowledge can be used positively. Why would they not on their own think of that? Let's take this call. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I can't hear you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Are you?
I hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, but it sounds as if you're muffled, like you're covering your mouth or something. Please, can you speak up clearly?
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry about that. I'm Frederick. I'm calling from Bible.
Right, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. Now, the issue we are having in the country is just a pathetic one. We need leaders that have vision for the country. Presently, look at a country like China. China woke up one day and made purposeful decisions that have helped their countries today. Nigeria will need such leaders. President Tinubu told us that it is stop thinking we have a clique of the teeming youth, like the teeming population in Nigeria, to create jobs. Also, instead, he brought some policies that are not.
I know. The country is very hard for all of us, but if you would make your voice a little bit louder, it will help everyone to hear us, and we can conclude quickly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay. So, as I was saying, if the president would bring in policies that will help the different sectors of the economy to work, Nigeria will be better. We need a leaders with vision. Like, they are telling you today that your question you rightly asked, that you are the youth ready. That there are many youth ready. Most of our teenagers that are leaving the country, other nations, they are being employed in those countries to tell you that they are ready. We need just leaders with vision of what to be done at this appropriate time. Because without the leaders with vision and purposeful decisions about the economy and everything, there's nothing that is going to work. There are many youth that are willing to put in their best to the development of this country.
Yeah, Frederick, thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hello? Hello? All right. Listen quickly. So, let's take it from there.
So the government, okay, I would like to start with this. We are not disputing the fact that the government has a huge chunk when it comes to this corruption thing. Actually, they have a larger part. But then we can't also deny the fact that we as citizens, we also have a role to play. We also have our own part to play, because corruption is not just the government, the governor that is eating money. You yourself, okay, let's say you want to buy granite from somebody and you call the granite seller. You want to buy granite of 15 naira. While you've paid for a 15 naira, while she's trying to gather the 15 naira granite for you, as she looks away, you pick. That is corruption. Corruption has to do with all of us.
Exactly.
But notwithstanding, the government has a large role to play when it comes to the solution, when it comes to killing corruption, when it comes to subsidizing, when it comes to reducing corruption in our country.
I agree to the extent that example should come from leaders. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like the media is a very, very effective tool in our society today. And I feel like that is something the government should invest in. And the best way to invest in this media is by empowering youth. You were saying something about youth having the skills and all, and yet they are channeling it on the wrong aspect. When Mr. Deji was here, you both said something about presently being good does not pay. I do not want to agree with it, but if you look at it from another aspect, from another perspective, you see that it's actually true. When you are doing the right job, you are doing the right thing. Nobody is there for you, but just put in one or two, and you'll see everybody supporting you. Now, that is why sometimes this is not me in any way defending those who participate in fraud and other social vices. Yeah. But sometimes if you look at it, you understand that if they should put in this good work, they are not getting credit for it. They are not even getting the support they need. So instead of doing it the right way, they feel like, okay, let me just do this and do that. I will get it. So sometimes you don't blame them. And this is not me. I sincerely support being morally upright. But then sometimes this also brings us to the point that the government has a large role to play. So I feel like the government should bring in those good strategies first. They should provide jobs first. They should bring in they should empower us first, and see if we do not actually act according. That is when I feel we take the blame. When maybe jobs are provided, when maybe we have the digital skills, we are putting it into work, and then they are supporting us, we are getting the good results we are supposed to get, and yet we still choose to do the wrong. I feel that's when they have a say. That's when they can actually say we are doing the wrong thing. But if they cannot put in the place, if they cannot bring in good strategies that will also support us, that will also help us, then I feel they have no point. We all are to blame.
Yeah.
But even at that, they have the larger chunk.
I agree. I agree that the government has a larger chunk. But when we talk about government, we also need to talk about other stakeholders. We need to talk about the family. A whole lot of the issues that we have in society actually emanate from the families, because the family is the smallest unit of society, and society is the sum total of families. When you talk about 200 million Nigerians or whatsoever, it's made up of families and in each family you have leadership also. Many times leadership failure, even at the family level, is responsible for the troubles that we have in society. And I think before we got on set, you were talking about poverty and all that. There's a level of poverty that makes even a father become absent, even though he's present. Because, I mean, what do I mean by that? You see that you have a daughter who you bought maybe, what do they call this, what they popularly call balasa phone for. Now you bought balasa for the so that we're talking, it's not Android, it's not a smart, it's not a smartphone. So, and then by the time the lady gets back from school, the girl now wields iPhone 10. And we all know that iPhone 10 does not cost 5,000 naira now, and she's not working. Now, rather than question the source, there are parents who actually egg their words, their children on, and say, good one, that's a good one. Next time, try and get something more sophisticated. Now, when you have such kind of leadership at the family level, some of these things will never, no matter what the government does. Today, parents know that their children are up to all kinds of vices. Some are even getting support from that homestead. And I think that that's one critical area that needs to be talked about, that needs to be seriously looked at. So in that sense, I'm saying that, like you said, yes, government has a large chunk, but we the people in our different levels also have a huge role to play to ensure sanity returns to society. I'll take this call and then we'll get back. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, what's your name, please?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Joseph.
Joseph from where?
From Niger State.
Yeah, there's not so much time. You would have to speak up and speak as fast as you can.
Okay. I want to speak in the aspect of the government.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead, please.
In restoring back. Hello?
Hello. I think that you might have to call us back. Can you call us back, please? Thank you. Now, see, let's move on quickly. Now, I also notice, growing up, did you encounter anything like Boy Scouts?
Yes.
Boy Scouts, Girls Brigade,
Yeah.
and all that. Okay. Today, you find out that it's really not there. It's really not there. And whether you like it or not, those schemes, those organizations helped a lot of young people grow up with leadership skills. Today, you don't have Boy Scouts. Today, you don't have Girls Brigade. Today, you don't have manual leadership training, whatever. And those, I think that the absence of those schemes is clearly seen. Today, you find out that, in actual fact, many youths, I thank God for the likes, your likes, thank God. But many youths, and I say this with a whole sense of responsibility, many youths don't even know what's going on around them. I'm telling you, and that's part of the problem, because as much as we want help from government, as much as we want empowerment, as much as we want facilitation, then we must also speak to the youths to be prepared. You talked about being prepared for opportunity. When preparation meets opportunity, yeah. Now, so it's important that youths themselves, do you know that there are youths today? No, okay, maybe somebody will give an excuse that because the national anthem has been changed. There are so many youths, even if you ask them to recite the old one, the one that was just dumped, they don't know it. They went through school. There are youths who went to school. They can't write a letter. They can't fill a form. How do you help such a person? So as we speak, even on this program, Blessing, I want you to also join me to say that youths also have a huge role to play in helping themselves, in positioning themselves for help. There are people you can't help. I mean, there has been a situation where someone had finished a university and he sought the help of somebody, and the person gave him a note to someone high up. They were to give him a job somewhere in a bank, and he got there, and basic mathematics. I'm not talking, it's not anything complicated, not equations, not anything. Something as simple as adding some naira to some naira and to some naira that a primary school student will easily clear. This person was challenged with it. He was struggling with it. He was sweating. And so how do you help such a person? The help that can be rendered, you have been linked up with somebody who could give you a job. But here you are, you can't do the most basic of things. And that's why, you know, at every opportunity I say that we like to lie to ourselves in this country. We like to lie to ourselves. Today, no student fails mathematics in secondary school. No student fails mathematics. You see them, they get an A1, a B3, a B2, and all that. But after the exam, the following day, just ask that child to do sorts, to solve sorts, or to solve progression series, or whatever, or quadratic equations, anything, trigonometry, anything. You will find that the person cannot even, is not supposed to get an E8. Yet, on paper, he has a B3, he has an A1. So these are a whole lot of things. Today, you find out that people who get sometimes second class upper in school, some of them didn't attend classes. They pass, on paper, they pass better than the people who were in class all the time. So these are a whole lot of issues. Even if the system allows you to be negligent about your destiny, I think that youths themselves need to wake up and know that they are here for a purpose, and that without fulfilling that purpose, their lives are empty. They will not make any impact. Their lives will be of no use. Let's take this. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name, please?
This is Bernard from Benue State.
Bernard from Benue State, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
I'd like the program people are doing so much, and I'm very interested in it.
Thank you.
So, the thing is that even this issue of mathematics and all that is all about corruption. Sometimes some people that are not talented enough, they have to participate in their paper. But after attending this class, they can bring up a huge amount of money to those our teachers to help them out, so that they can be able to acquire their needs. So it's all about corruption.
Yeah, it's still about corruption, yeah.
So it's not matter about how well talented some people are, but some people, they are all with their masters, but they are still jobless in this company. You can see even our naira doesn't have value anymore. So the most important thing is this, in my own opinion, I think that this fuel issue is the most important thing.
All right.
For our country.
Okay.
Even this madam, they just say that if you give someone 15 naira, you cannot, and then the person says, the moment you look out.
Thank you. We will need to let you go now, so we can quickly round up. Blessing, we'll need to take your final word.
Okay. In conclusion.
Go ahead.
So in conclusion,
Yeah.
when you talk about people passing through school, getting good results, yet they have nothing to show for it, I feel like there are some things involved. Some people have jobs waiting for them. All they need is to just get the certificate, just go to school and bring the certificate. That's because maybe they have some rich uncle, some rich dad that already have a job waiting for them. Just go to school and get it. And another thing is, some people, for example, the course I applied for in school was not the course I studied. Now, we need to understand that there's something we call passion.
Yeah.
You might not be passionate about what you're studying. You just want to get the certificate because that's what gives you respect presently in this country. Some way, somehow, it's either you have money or maybe you have a certificate. That's how you gain respect. So sometimes some people just want to go to school and get the certificate, not because they are passionate about what they do. And all you need to do is to pass. You know, I have to pass to be able to get the certificate. So I have to do anything, even if I have to take expo to the exam hall, or if I have to bribe people to pass. I just want to get the certificate.
But that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Both for society and for the individual.
Yes.
And I think that as we round up, it's important to say to every one of us that we all have a role to play to ensure a better fortune for the youth of this country.
Yes.
And the youth themselves must not just be there waiting for the help to come without working on themselves. And I thank you, Blessing, for coming, and I thank you for the very solid contributions you have made this afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I encourage you to please be a leading light out there. You have talked very beautifully. I hope and pray that you are able to exemplify some of the things that you have said. And viewers, I want to say thank you to every one of you who have stayed faithful to this station. I want to thank everyone who has called on the program. I want to thank Sani Dam Muda. I want to thank Sharafaddin. I want to thank Peter. Thank you, Angie, or Ike Angie from Benue. Thank you, Frederick from Benue, or from, was it Benue? And a host of others. Thank you so much for participating with us. We look forward to having you again. Same time tomorrow, 2 p.m. is the time. And we can guarantee you it's usually a great, engaging, insightful, beautiful time to share together. Thank you for being there.